So this is the warming series for Thai massage. It comes from the Muay Thai tradition, and most of the teachers in Thailand that I've learned this from have been male, and they use it for healing sports injuries. It's also, some of these techniques are also used under what's called the commoner style. So this is just a series it's a series of compression type movements, and it's more a way of working than it even is specific technique, because it'll look different on each person. So go ahead and just begin with just warming up by just pressing. So we'll just do a little palm pressing. Okay. And this palm pressing is pretty much the way you begin any Thai massage. It's pretty standard. So whether you're using royal style or the commoner style. There's some other divisions that they have too in Thailand for Thai massage, but a lot of it comes down to stretching style massage, compression style massage, styles of massage where you can use your feet and your entire body, styles where you really are just using your hands and your forearms. So this is our first warming move. We're pressing around the femoral artery, and it's just right there on the inguinal ligament. So we'll hold for 30 to 60 seconds. And then she's going to feel a flush of blood down through her legs. So we're increasing the circulation, which is really what this is all about. Feel the flush? Okay. So now we're going to reach under our client's popliteal space, and by their foot, we're going to put our foot on the mat, and we're going to have it far enough away from our client's knee that when I roll her over to her side, she doesn't roll over her knee. There are some styles where you actually on purpose would have that foot right under the knee, but for this demo, we're not doing that. And then we'll just support right there, so you just have to relax. And then we're just going to press her knee down. I'm going to bring my leg back, and then I'm just going to stretch to the side. Is that too much? When I stretch her back, I'm pressing on the sacroiliac joint, and then I'm pressing a couple different places, moving up the back by the erector spinae. So just slightly above that. Give her a nice stretch. And a few times just so her body can assimilate the stretch, so it can relax into it. Okay. And then I'm going to bring her arm over. I'm going to bring her hand up, relax, and we'll just adjust your pillow a little bit. I want her to lie fairly flat because I'm going to do a series of compression moves down to just above the popliteal space. And I want to have access to the hamstrings. So I need her body not completely flat, but really rolled over to the side. Almost as much as she can while still being in side position. Okay, so there's a couple options with this. So we could use our tibia, and we could just press our shin bone there. We're going to start, in acupressure, it's actually a point that would be bladder 36. And it's right in the center of gluteal fold. It's a really important point, so you can just lean into that, like that. Or if you studied with a teacher that I love named Bichette, he would teach you to sit. So you would just sit on that area. So you have to be careful, obviously, in the US with doing this because not everyone has an understanding of different types of touch. And so not everyone's gonna be okay with you sitting on them. But we would sit and progressively move down. With that, we talked about in the other classes, you're going to have one foot out, so one leg really out, and the other one's going to be kind of leaning to the side. So the pressure is really coming from your tailbone, okay, and your sacrum. So then we could do that, or we could do foot presses. And if you do that, especially in clinic, you can go ahead and use the ashiatsu bars, and you can use the scarves to come down, and that will allow you to lean into it and be stable and relaxed. So we're gonna choose standing for this one, but you have different options. Okay. So I'm gonna hold for 60 seconds. It's important to remember that the idea behind this series really is equalizing the circulation. And we're bringing chi, bringing prana, bringing energy to the entire structure. But we're also, with that, we are really flushing the blood through the body by, first of all, we compress here, close to the glutes. And then after 60 seconds, we'll release. So we'll pretend that was 60 seconds. Release. And she'll still feel a little flush even from that. Do you feel it? Mm-hmm. And then we'll go back to the same spot on this first press. And we'll hold again for 60 seconds. And then progressively work our way down, again, just to above the popliteal space. We want to get all the attachments too. And when we work with prana, chi, we could call it energy, but when you're working with that, the sen, then you really are working with circulation, blood flow. Because remember that, I think we talked about this, some of you know this, but there's a saying that blood follows chi, and it's because blood is yin and its structure, and chi is yang and it's the propelling force, it's a kinesthetic force. And so it's really the force that's pulling that blood in circulation through the tissues and through the muscle. And so when we work with the chi first, or the sen, or we're working with the prana, but in reality, we're also working with the circulation because blood follows that energy. And then we'll just continue down. And then from a Western perspective, there's also the principle of any tight muscle being ischemic. And that means that it's lacking in circulation, it's lacking in blood flow. So if a muscle has proper circulation, proper blood flow, it's not going to be ischemic, it's not going to be tight, and it also won't have edema or swelling of any kind, it'll be healthy. So based on that alone, I mean it's simplistic, but based on that alone, this warming becomes very important. These presses are approximate. About 60 seconds. Do you guys have any questions about that? It's a little harder with the camera.
Can it cause any problems? You know, like maybe
If
nerve
No.
issues?
No, I mean, it really wouldn't cause any problems. If you had high blood pressure, then, because we're actually, I mean, you can feel the pressure of the blood increase under where you're pressing. So if someone had high blood pressure, or if they're taking any Western medicines for high blood pressure, then we wouldn't want to probably do these techniques.
Like Coumadin or anything like
Yeah.
that, you definitely stay away.
Not because there's anything that says that there would be a problem, but we don't want this to be our experiment.
So if somebody had like a sciatic nerve issue,
It would
would that
help.
be a good thing for them?
And in fact, the first point that we start with, it is a point specifically for working with sciatic nerve dysfunction. And also with the entire lower body. So, and the sen are the energy lines in Thailand. And they, you're working with them in the entire massage. I mean, you want to keep in mind that everything we do here is energy work. But that when we say we're working with energy, then we're also working with physiology. We're working with structure. With that idea that the structure is yin and the kinesthetic movement is that yang force that is energy. Just continuing. Are you feeling the flush each time?
Mm-hmm.
So as we get closer to the tendons and the popliteal space, we've been creating this pressure
with the blood. In the West, we would have thought of this as we're cutting off the circulation. That's if you go to an extreme, you know. A lot of the Eastern techniques, they're misunderstood. We joke about bloodletting, but it was mostly our Western ancestors that misused bloodletting and bled people until they were exhausted when they were already weak. I mean, bloodletting, when we do guasa, in effect, we're really working with that blood. When you donate plasma, for some people that have high iron content, it's a really good treatment for them. And so, like everything, it depends on how it's used. Massage, we don't punch our clients, you know. It's like,
They might not
so, great. But sometimes I really do think still in our culture we have like such black and white thinking without remembering that there is a little black within the white, a little white within the black, and that it really does, again, depend on how you use each principle. But we'll see something used in the wrong way, and we'll just ban it, when there's so much good with its use in the right way. In Eastern theory, exception is the rule. If you ever read the Tao Te Ching or really any Eastern books, you see that very quickly. It's a really good reminder. We know that there's a lot of exceptions, but with our vernacular, with our language, and with a lot of our philosophies, we kind of still act surprised by the exception, you know, instead of embracing it. Okay, so the next movement, we're going to roll our client back onto their back, and we are going to do some presses on the IT band. So we're going to bend our client's knee, place their foot onto the mat. We're going to come down